This week on Art of MMA, we're talking about UFC Long Island, Ortega versus Rodriguez. We'll give our reactions to that card, break it down. Then we're going to be turning our attention, make our preview and picks for Bellator 283. We got Douglas Lima versus Jason Jackson. And then we got UFC London. UFC's back in London with Blaydes versus Aspinall. So we'll take a look at all that. And then can't forget Battleground. We're going to be talking about independent contractors, fighter contracts, and stuff like that. But hey, let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Art of MMA. I'm Mike Ginn. That's the mechanic, Brandon Cuttino, back at you for another week of action. We had a lot of stuff go down last weekend. Main event might not have been what we were hoping for, but we got a lot of other action on that card on ABC. Plus, we also got some stuff to talk about with Battleground, some picks to make. Unfortunately, your boy, I'm not the lead dog no more. I had a bad weekend. I don't know if it should really be a no contest for the main event, right?
Nope.
No. Real quick before we do get in the results, we did have a couple news things break. Most importantly, Nate Diaz finally got a fight, Brandon.
Yeah.
He finally got a fight. Looked like Hamzat's going to step up and fight him in September on UFC 279. What do you think about that?
Hey, man, I'm just happy Nick Diaz finally gets to fight out his contract. You know, saying the dude's been begging for a fight, asking for a fight. He's been calling out people. Nobody's been stepping up, or the UFC hasn't been letting him step up because, like I said, I think they wanted Chimaev, and then Nate Diaz finally said, "All right, fine, I'll fight Chimaev." But then they went crickets. You know, they went silent, and now we have it scheduled for September 10th.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be anything less than just the quote good old JR, a slobber knocker. I think this is going to be straight up. Chimaev's going to come in, drop him a few times. Nate's going to put up a fight. Try to come back, whatever he does, be a bloody warrior. And then what? Then we'll finally be Nate Diaz free in the UFC. And then he'll probably go fight Jake Paul, assuming Jake Paul can get past Rockman, which is no guarantee because we're talking about a guy with one loss. He did get knocked out his last fight, but ironically, you know who knocked him out his last fight?
Man, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Tommy Morrison's kid.
Yeah, exactly. I knew
it was a battle of the juniors.
Yeah. I knew it was another boxer's son, but I just can't remember.
And then also we got Oliveira versus Makhachev official for October. So stuff to look forward to. But today, UFC Long Island, Strong Island, if you will, UFC on ABC 3, Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez was the main event. We also had Michelle Waterson and Amanda Lemos in the co-main. A bunch of other fights on the card. We'll be going over the main and co-main event. We'll also take a look at the fight of the night, which was Matt Schnell. Something new I want to start doing, looking at the fight of the night, Brandon, so we can give the people what they want, the most exciting fight. And then, of course, we'll take a look at our fight picks before we move on. But, Brandon, the main event was not what we hoped for. We had a lot of great action going into that main event. And then not even shortly into the fight, Brian Ortega, who might have even been winning the round at that point, depending on how you look at it, got caught in the armbar. He yanked his arm out, but literally he yanked his arm out, and it fell out of his socket and fell back to the floor in pain. Yair Rodriguez showed great sportsmanship. He just stopped right there. Of course, the fight was stopped. Rodriguez got the win. What do you think of the whole situation?
Yeah, no, and like I said, it was starting to heat up, and then it stopped. But same, man, credit to Yair Rodriguez. Like I said, he was doing an arm bar. He was trying to do a submission. Remember, when you're doing an arm bar, you're doing it to do damage to somebody's arm, and that's what happened. He ended up doing. It wasn't the elbow, which is how usually an arm bar is, but it was the person's shoulder. So credit to Yair Rodriguez. He is the one that caused the injury. Because, like you said, Brian Ortega was trying to defend it, yanked his arm out, boom, his shoulder came out. If Yair Rodriguez wasn't doing that armbar, the shoulder would have popped out. So again, you got to give credit to Yair Rodriguez for attempting the armbar submission. And like I said, to me, man, he was looking good. Like I said, I think he was, the better on the feet. Like I said, he was hitting the harder shots. But like I said, the fight was definitely heating up, and then it just kind of wasn't the ending that nobody wanted.
Yeah, I mean, it was still early. Who knows what would have happened? He wasn't really caught in the armbar, but it was definitely caused by the armbar. Obviously, if he wasn't trying to yank out, like you said. I give credit to Rodriguez for the win. It's not like he wasn't doing anything. It wasn't like, it was just a freak accident. It was a freak accident, but not like that. There was a reason, a cause and effect that it happened. Yeah. So you got to give Rodriguez the win. The whole calling out the champ and everything else, when you got a win like that, pump the brakes a little bit. I think I'd rather see him fight Josh Emmett or one of those other guys first. But we got to wait to see what's up with Ortega, how long he's out. Maybe they run it back. But what do you think's next for Yair Rodriguez?
Well, according to him, anyway, the UFC said the winner of that fight was going to get a title shot. So Yair won, so he should get a title shot.
But they've also said interim now, too, because it looks like Volk wants to step up to 155.
Well, Volkanovski is having surgery on his thumb anyway, so he's going to be out for a while anyway.
And for once, even though I'm against interim champions, for once, the champion actually signed off on it. He's like, they want to do an interim title while I'm out. Go ahead. It builds up more for a fight.
Yeah. So, we shall see. In my honest opinion, I think Josh Emmett deserves a title shot. Like saying he's on a 5-fight win streak. Yair Rodriguez, he's only won one fight. So, and also too, Josh Emmett to me he has the better competition of his wins. So like I said, I think Josh Emmett deserves the next title shot. But if they want to give it to Yair, then that's what they're going to do. Like I said, it's their company, their promotion.
Yeah, I find it hard to give Yair a title shot. I don't know Josh Emmett because, like we said, how much he's jumped up in the rankings. That's great. But there's not much that Volkanovski hasn't run through in that division. Yair got destroyed by Max.
But Volkanovski hasn't
Max destroyed Volkanovski. Volkanovski destroyed Max. So,
but I'm saying, but Volkanovski he didn't fight Yair, and also he didn't fight Josh Emmett. So those are two fresh guys. The guy did not clear out the division to be like, oh yeah, I want to step out. I'm gonna leave or something like that.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes the most sense is probably Yair versus Emmett in a contender, and whoever wins that gets Volkanovski when he's back, unless both of them want to wait and see who gets the shot, because it sounds like Volkanovski's going to be out like the rest of the year. So what do you do? Do you want to wait?
We'll see.
Over in the co-main event, no waiting around. Amanda Lemos and Michelle Waterson. I guess I have to say Michelle Waterson Gomez now. I have to say the full name now that she's going by the whole thing. Lemos looked fantastic. Waterson, there was a close first round. Waterson went for the takedown in the second round, got caught in the guillotine, and then it was pretty much all over. What did you think of that fight?
Like I said, man, I picked Lemos to get the job done, and that's what happened. I had said finish either first or second round. Came in the second round, and you could tell when she put that guillotine on, it was tight because Waterson had dropped down to a knee, and that's kind of universal code as saying like, oh, this is a tight guillotine, and that's what it was. It was tight. She wasn't able to pop her head out. Boom, she had to tap. Yeah,
I thought the first round was close. I thought Michelle came out a little bit slow, but you can kind of say that with a little bit of the, not being in the cage for a while with the injuries. Lemos came out with a chip on her shoulder from the last loss, and it showed. And then the second round, Waterson, it was just a poor time take it down. Like that level change was kind of poorly timed, and she paid for it. She got caught, and that was it. And like you said, she went down to the knee. Lemos had that in tight, tried to fight it off, but there was not much fighting on that. Live to fight another day, as they say. But now Lemos is challenging. Bounce back from her only loss. What's next for Amanda?
I don't really know. You gotta kind of bounce it because, like I said, her last fight, she had lost to Andrade. So this was a good bounce.
Jessica came back.
So I'm saying I think now she's in the top 10. So you probably still give her somebody that's probably ranked from either like 6, between 6 and 9.
First of all, I'd love to see her matched up with like maybe a Ribas, who's right next to her in rankings, Amanda Ribas. Another one, Tisha Torres is always a fun fight for anybody that'll move you up. And you got somebody sitting at 5 who's kind of in no man's land, like Yan Jianan. Like she's kind of in no man's land. Like she's like she's not involved in the top 4, and she's not really set up for fights in the bottom, like couple, 6, 7. If you want to jump up rankings, that could be an interesting fight. I think there's so much noise at the top of the division with Carla Rose possibly getting a rematch at some point, Wei Li getting probably the next shot, the way she destroyed Joanna. But we have seen stranger things, like people jumping up to fight more top ranks. We saw Hamzat jump up and fight Gilbert Burns for a top person. I think Mackenzie Dern has a fight coming up. I don't know what Rodriguez has lined up. So there's a possibility. Yeah, and then there's also a possibility of like jumping way up because Amanda didn't fight very long. She's probably fresh. She can probably turn around pretty quickly. I heard Michelle Waterson say she wants to get back quickly. She doesn't want to stay out very long. She's obviously getting up there in her career. But I really don't know who she could fight at this point. She's fought all the people like the Angela Hills and Tisha Torreses and stuff. So I really don't know what else she could fight. That would be a fun fight because it's not going to be a contender fight. So not really sure. Any names pop up for Michelle Waterson for you?
I want to say probably somebody who's in the top 15. Like I say, she's probably now ranked number 11. So who's 12, 13, 14, 15,
I mean, you can even look down at the bottom of this card. Emily Ducati started off with the win over Jessica Penny. Looked very impressive. Destroyed Jessica Penny's leg. That might be somebody if you want to give somebody a chance. Kind of like a gatekeeper, if you will. Give one of the new girls a chance. That'd be interesting. On this card, we saw 7 performance bonuses, 6 of them for stoppages, including Amanda Lemos, Li Jilang. Lauren Murphy got the dominating win over Misha Tate. Ricky Simone, I told you, Ricky Simone. Only thing I got right on that card, Ricky Simone. Man, Ricky's the truth, man. I hope that Sean O'Malley fight happens. Bill Algeo faced a lot of adversity. I don't know if it was Herbert Burns' knee that went out or just Algeo's pressure. He looked great. Your boy Dustin Jacoby was a massive knockout. Ironically, Dustin said that was the most nervous he's ever been before a fight. He doesn't know why. He just was.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Ducati with the big win. But the fight of the night, Matt Schnell versus Sumaraji. I'm probably butchered that. Sumaraji. How the hell do you say his name?
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about
You're supposed to be my name fixer. Now, where's Tim? We got to get Tim up on here. I'm just going to say Sue Mataraji. Man, Sue was on like dominating Matt early, hitting him with bombs. Matt went wobbly leg. Like he was doing a stanky leg up in the middle of the cage. Then he was able to turn it around, come back in the second round, and dominate the other way, full mount, massive elbows, massive shots. Sumarad got it flipped over, and eventually Matt got the triangle choke. I mean, props to both these guys. How tough are both of them? Sue tried his best to fight off that triangle. Nothing he could really do. Give us your thoughts on that fight before we move on.
No, man, it definitely was a good fight, man. It was a banger. Like I said, definitely has had a lot of back and forth action. Shout outs to Matt Schnell, for kind of really getting that comeback win because
Danger.
I mean, you kind of want to say, man, like those are lucky moments right there because also, man, you look at the ref, man. If that was a different ref, the fight could have gotten stopped by, it could have gotten stopped, but the ref there, he let them keep going. So that gave up Matt Schnell some time, to kind of catch himself, reverse, and he got the finish that way.
That was Beltran, right?
No, was it? I don't remember how to say his name.
That wasn't Mike Beltran ref in that one?
No, it wasn't Beltran. It wasn't Beltran.
Thought it was.
It starts with a T.
I'll have to look it up. Somebody leave in a comment, tell us who the ref was for that fight. And actually, one last thing I want to ask you about. So Shane Burgos, we'll talk about a little bit in the next segment because he actually has something to do with the whole independent contractor thing I want to bring up, but because he is a free agent now. Shane Burgos, close fight. A lot of pros have that thing going both ways. I think Shane won the first and second. The first round is really the questionable. And also, if you give Shane a 10-8 round in the second, because he controlled like 4 minutes out of the 5 minutes in the second round. I think Jourdain landed one shot, and then it was all on the ground after that. Third round, like Shane said afterwards, his legs were shot. They were done. He barely survived the third round because, quite honestly, he was just on willpower. Can you, I don't even know if you could do this unbiasedly because that's your guy, but can you unbiasedly say who won that fight? Not who got the call, but who do you think won that fight?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember when I was talking to her, I really wasn't sure because, like I said, I knew the first round was close. Like I said, I had the second round for Shane. I had the third round for Jourdain. But to be honest with you, I think in live time, I actually really thought I think I kind of thought Jourdain took the first round. You know, so I actually was having Jourdain up, but then like when the scorecards were going, I think I just had a feeling. I was like, I think he's going Shane's way, just the way how they were saying the scores. I was like, nah, I think it's gonna be a Shane fight. So, but like going, I know after the first round, I think I did have it for Jourdain, but you know, like I said, that was just the moment because I was kind of like, I think it was going by again, like we talked about, like the end of the round, because I want to say Shane was definitely, to me, controlling the first part of the round, and then I think Jourdain kind of came back towards the end, but I think it was a little too late in the first round for him.
Yeah, I think Shane just did a touch more in the first round, in my opinion, but the second and third round were clear. I think at best, I think at worst, I should say, it was a draw, because I think only one judge gave a 10-8 for that second round, but Shane controlled 4 minutes on the ground. Like that's the whole round basically. Like, how do you not give that a 10-8?
Yeah.
We've seen less for 10-8, but you know, every judge is going to do it differently. I think one of the reporters at the end asked him about MMA judging, and Shane was just like you just kind of go with whatever it is. You list the criteria, but you don't know which judge is looking for what. This time it went for Shane's benefit. You know, cool. Congrats. Team Tiger Schulman's another win. Representing New York, are still undefeated. And then last thing I'll say, Miesha Tate got what she deserved, because she was talking so much trash going into that Lauren Murphy fight. And I was sitting there watching it, and even had my wife next to me. I was like, I hope Lauren Murphy wins this fight, because Miesha gave Lauren no chance. She's like, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to take care of business, go in for a title shot. Just totally overlooked Lauren Murphy, considering the only loss Lauren Murphy has lately is to Shevchenko.
Mm-hmm.
She ragged on her for starting after at the age of 24, when Miesha's been doing her whole life. All that karma came back to bite Miesha in the ass. That's not saying Miesha Tate's done. There's fights she can win, but I think she's also at this point where it's more like Michelle Waterson. Like, you're looking for fun fights. I don't think you're looking for title fights anymore. But that's me. That is that. Brandon, last week, most viewed segment on our YouTube channel, Battleground. People loved it. People liked it. Back again. This time, not so much of a fight, but this time is kind of an important subject. We just talked in the last segment about Shane Burgos. He's a free agent now. He fought out his contract. He doesn't really have much interest in going anywhere else. He said it. He's like, the UFC treats me great. The numbers match up. I'll still be a UFC fighter. Francis Ngannou's got till the end of the year, until he's a free agent. We constantly see this label when it comes to big promotions. We see it in MMA, and we see it in even wrestling, right? Independent contractor. And I don't think a lot of people know what it means. So this subject is going to be kind of broken down in two things. One, I'm going to tell people real quick what independent contractor actually means, because I don't think they think it's free agent. You can do what you want. That's not exactly what it means. It's actually a very common term in all of business, doctors, lawyers, a lot of people. It's what you call an I-9 contract. And I'll talk about that in a second, because I used to actually have one. Secondly, we'll talk about fighter contracts, whether it's fair, whether they should use the boxing model, and that'll be kind of the debate for Battleground. But let me real quick tell people about independent contractor. Now, I pulled this up, and this was off the IRS website. People, and I'm going to summarize, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but people such as doctors, dentists, veterinarians, lawyers, accountants, so on and so forth, have what they call I-9 contracts, independent contractors. They sign usually a short-term contract. Sometimes it can be longer. Usually it's a short-term contract. The general rule is that the individual is an independent contractor if the payer has the right to control or direct only the result of the work and not what will be done and how it will be done. Basically, you're a self-employed contractor, but you're paying your own taxes. Let me just shorten it all in. That's what it really means. Instead of being a W-2 type employee where they're paying your taxes, you're responsible for your taxes. That's what it means. You agree to a contract, you agree to the length, you agree to the terms. That doesn't matter if you're an independent contractor or employee. We hear a lot of that in professional wrestling, like, oh, why are you an independent contractor, but they control your legacy? Because that's the contract you sign. And if they chose not to sign those contracts, it'd be a whole different world. UFC currently has the rights, to match a lot of these contracts or let them go. They got sued to where now they have 5-year maxes. So like after 5 years, no matter what, if you fought 5 times, you fought 0 times, your contract's over. Those are things that people have sued for, have gotten the rights for, and UFC has changed because there's still not a union. There's a few unions, but nobody's joined them. But that's what independent contractor means. It just really means you're an I-9 employee. I think the term independent probably is the wrong term for it because people think you're free to do whatever you want. And that's not really the way it works. If Brandon goes to the Tiger Schulmans and they give him a 3-year contract to be a teacher, but he has to pay his own taxes, then he's an I-9 employee. He's an independent contractor. If they're paying his taxes for him, then he's an on-staff employee. It's a different thing. Just the contracts you choose to sign. That's all that is. But Brandon, this kind of brings me to the subject. We saw it with Kayla where PFL had the right to match. We saw it with the stuff Ngannou's going through right now. Your boy Shane is a free agent now. Jimmy Rivera decided to go do bare knuckle when he fought out his contract and was, I don't know if he was really released because he lost, but at the same time, his contract was up, right? It is what it is. Boxing has this model where you can fight the best fighter. You might have a mandatory challenger or something like that, but if Earl Spence wants to fight Bud Crawford, guess what? They can fight. If Floyd wants to fight Manny, they can fight. It may be a lot of hurdles, but they can fight. If Kayla wants to fight Cyborg, now we got to get 2 promotions involved. Not 2 managers, not 2 fighters, 2 whole promotions. Same when Floyd fought Conor. You had to get the UFC's blessing. What do you think of the current structure of fighter contracts? Are they fair? Do they need to change?
I mean, I was going to say, everything that you said, that really does happen in boxing too. Like you said, you wanted, like I said at the time before, like when we wanted Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, that was a top-ranked promotion, and then that was the PBC. Those 2 promotions had to come together, which of course then that's 2 networks that had to come together because Top Rank's is with ESPN and PBC is with Fox, or Showtime, depending on which one of the PBC you want to go with. So again, that's still 2 networks that had to come together if you want that fight to happen. Now the thing is with them with belts, right? It's not sanctioned by the promotion, right? In MMA, the belts are sanctioned by the promotion, so it's their belts. They can do whatever they want. Like with Charles Oliveira, he missed weight. It's the UFC that took away his belt. It's not it wasn't the athletic commission. He could have missed weight, but the athletic commission, but the UFC, they could have kept the belt on him. But I'm saying, like in boxing, you have the WBC, that's the sanctioning body, the IBF sanctioning body, WBA. But to answer your question though, like I guess you want to say like contracts do need to be changed. I mean, for me, I want to say like to me, man, is fighters they it's like to me it's like to me with any other sports anyway. To me, like you see in baseball and even hockey now, like they be doing those long-term contracts of like 7 years, 10 years, stuff like that. It's the same thing here with fighting where they're doing 10 fight deals or 6 fights or 8 fights. To me, man, you should do nothing no more than 4. 4 fights, because after 4 fights, you never know. I'm saying your stock could go up, or you might, or you might just want to change or something like that. So, but to me, man, people be signing for those longer fight deals. Like I remember when Anderson Silva, he had I think it was I think he
8-fight deal.
8-fight deal. Yeah, like to me, man, that's a lot of fights. And times can change where you're like, you get a dub, a big W, and you're like, oh, I want to get paid more, but you got 7 more fights on this current deal that you just did. It's like, like to me, man, you do no more than 4 fights.
Kind of like John Jones' situation where he's waiting for more money even though he has a contract.
Yeah, Exactly. So to me, like all these people who are signing these long-term deals is like, that's what you're signing. It's like that's what happens in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? You outplay your contract, and then these guys want more money. But it's the same thing here in the fight game. It's like you guys sign these long-term deals and stuff like that, and then it's like, oh, I want more money. So.
Yeah, I think the difference in boxing is, and you mentioned it, it's not you have a point, but it applies to the top like 1%. Like, the guys, the Canelos, the Earl Spences, the Deontay Wilders, the Tyson Furies that have these contracts with promotions and companies. The rest of them can fight wherever, whenever, pretty much, right? Like they can go wherever, whenever they want. And to an extent. And they all have promoters, they all have managers, they all have mandatory challengers. And we know boxing is a mess in itself. Like that's not the question. But these boxers are getting paid a lot more money. You see Usman wanting to cross over to fight Canelo because why? He wants to get paid. Same way Conor fought Floyd to get paid. Set Conor up for life. He doesn't have to fight in the UFC anymore because of that one fight he had with Floyd. You see celebrity people like Logan Paul and Jake Paul out there boxing. They're not doing MMA. They're doing boxing and now professional wrestling, but doing boxing because they have that freedom. MVP Promotions, they're bringing people in and out. There's promotions, but they're allowed to bring in pretty much any fighter they want if they can work it out with their management. You have a couple that have deals with television networks, you're right. But even then, you see more of those massive fights co-produced or somehow like managed. Like they'll work it out if the money's right. And that's always the key, if the money's right. But in MMA, you got control. And Dana's not working out anything if it's not in his best interest. Would it be in his best interest right now to let Nate Diaz go fight Jake Paul and take a cut of that? Of course it would. But he doesn't like Jake Paul, so he's not letting that fight happen. You see in Bellator, we're talking a lot about Cyborg and Kayla, and of course Cyborg has to resign this summer to even have that conversation. But we were close to getting Kayla signing with Bellator, and then PFL matched the contract. Everybody has certain contracts. Everybody has certain clauses, and promotions have certain clauses, like you said, to protect the promotion.
Yeah. But also, too, I mean, I want to go back to that, man. Like people be trying to throw some, some shade at the PFL for that, being able to match. But I'm like, if
smart business.
Exactly. I'm gonna say if you are a sports fan, that's how it is when you're a restricted free agent. Is a company can qualify you an offer, which is what happened, to all my NBA fans who like Jeremy Lin. You know what I'm saying? The Rockets, I think the Rockets had put out an offer for him. Hey, bro, Vin Sammy was hot back then, all right? Hey, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm just putting it out there for the people that know it. But I'm saying
somebody lives in New York, New Jersey.
When you're a restricted free agent, a team can offer you, but the team that you're on, they do have the right to match. It's the same thing here. PFL's, she went out.
More currently, what the Suns just did with Ayton and the Pacers. But go ahead.
Yeah. But I'm just saying it's out there. But again, though, a lot of MMA fans aren't really sports fans. They're just MMA heads, so they probably don't really know about that.
Yeah, I feel like MMA runs their promotions like a professional sports league. They run it like the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. They run it by those rules. I mean, everybody knows just a few episodes I had Zach LaVine as my cover guy. Like, please don't leave Chicago. But the contract before that, Zach did sign with Sacramento, and we matched it to keep Zach LaVine in Chicago. And that applies to all sports. Baseball has a version of it where the first 6 years you're under team control no matter what. Football has franchise tags.
Yeah.
But those are leagues. Those are teams. They're teams. You can argue in MMA as a team. Like you didn't go fight that fight at a gut check by yourself. You had a corner. You had your people with you. You have your training partners in the gym. You have your team, Tiger Showmans. You're not by yourself. But when the marquee says Brandon Cuttino, it's not saying Tiger Showmans. Shane Burgos didn't say Tiger Showmans. We know he's part of Tiger Showmans. We know he's a very important part. But the marquee is saying the fighter. It's saying the person representing the gym and representing the UFC and whoever, Francis Ngannou. I guarantee most people couldn't tell you the gyms behind most of the top fighters. They just know the fighters, especially casual fans. I don't think the fighters are capitalizing enough on their name. I think they're, Kung Lee and John Fitch and all these guys have been trying to get this union forever. So many people behind that, Nate Corey and all that stuff, former fighters, and it's going nowhere. And the truth is, if they continue to sign these independent contractor contracts, these I-9 contracts, they have no power. None. Same thing with WWE and the 90-day no-compete clause. Guess what? That's what you sign. In your contract, it says, hey, if we release you, we have 90 days where we have to pay you, but you can't go nowhere else. And, of course, they do that. Why? To hurt their stock. So they can't go somewhere else and make money right off the WWE name. UFC the same way. Now, UFC has the ability to match, I believe, most contracts. However, many fighters have been able to fight out their contracts, the Benson Hendersons of the world. Now Shane Burgos, I'm just using him because he's the latest example that I know of, and do what they want. I think we all know Shane's going to pretty much resign with the UFC. He gets his, as he said, what did he say in the post-fight? He gets his massages, he gets his catering, he gets everything he wants. So why would he, if other promotions aren't doing that, we're not even talking. That's what he said. So I expect to see Shane in the UFC. Leave a comment at home. Leave a comment on the video. Let us know what you think about the whole, let us know what you think about the independent contractor type contracts versus an employee type contract. I love that Brandon's video froze right as he was blinking, so it looked like he was sleeping. I promise you, folks, he wasn't sleeping. He just gets bored of me talking. And I don't even know he's frozen now right now. Anyway, that said, leave a thought, leave a comment. And while we're at it, Brandon, like and subscribe, right?
Yep, like and subscribe.
All right, folks, time for the previews and picks. I know how y'all love when Brandon kicks my ass. He finally took the lead back. We got Bellator back in action this week. Bellator 283. We'll start with that. We got Douglas Lima versus Jason Jackson. It was supposed to be Patricky Pitbull versus Sydney Outlaw for the lightweight title. They announced that about a month ago. Then a couple weeks ago, Pitbull got hurt. The thing weird about that, Brandon, is that Pitbull was supposed to be back within a couple weeks. So I don't know why. Maybe they couldn't do this card. Why not push that fight back a card and do it there? But now we have Sydney Outlaw fighting Musayev in just a contender fight. It's not even an interim or anything. And Sydney Outlaw misses out on a title shot because if he loses, then he's not getting no shot, obviously. I just don't know why Sydney even took this fight when he could have waited for Pitbull. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, maybe it's just that he just still wants to fight. He's already had himself set up to be on that card.
I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be. It's the only thing I could think of, too, that he was just already ready to go.
Maybe he needs the money.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, a lot of these fighters, up-and-coming fighters, they don't have, the bankroll. Let's start off with the main event, though. Douglas Lima, Jason Jackson got moved up. It's just going to be an awesome welterweight fight. I'm really looking forward to both these guys, banging it out. It's going to be very good. Personally, I have my thoughts. I want to see where you're going on this, Brandon. Who's going to win this fight, and tell me why.
Man, you know me, man. I love Douglas Lima, big Douglas Lima fan. But man, I think he's had some tough fights. I think he's on a 3-fight losing streak right now. I mean that MVP fight was kind of, that was a little iffy. But Damon Jackson, man, he's coming on, and he's coming on strong. They're saying, man, dude's a pressure fighter, and kind of Douglas Lima doesn't really do well with pressure fighters. Saying this way he can't get his leg kicks off, can't get his hands going. Saying I really was leaning towards Douglas Lima, but now I think I actually am going to go with Damon Jackson. Like I said, I think Jason Jackson. I'm sorry, wrong person. Yeah, his acting. I think I think Jackson's just coming on. So I'm going to go with him to get the W done.
Shout out to Damon Jackson. I think he just did an interview with our guys over at Cage.
Yeah, maybe that's why I had him in my head. My bad.
The Leech, getting a shout out on the show, never a bad thing. I'm with Jason Jackson too. I think Jason Jackson, like you said, split decision loss for Lima isn't a bad thing with MVP, but at the same time, he lost 2 before that. Jason Jackson's won 5 in a row and is going the right direction. He's looked better every time he stepped in the cage. At this point, somebody's got to beat him to prove me wrong, because I think Jason Jackson's going to be the champ sooner than later. There's we don't know what's going on with Amosov, the whole thing with Ukraine, all this other stuff. So we don't really know. But sooner than later, I think Jason Jackson gets a shot, and I think Jason Jackson is going to be a champ. So I'm going to give Jason Jackson the nod in this one. Over in the co-main event, the aforementioned Sydney Outlaw going against Tafik Musayev. Hey, tell me what you know about Musayev, because I don't know much about him. And what do you expect out of this fight?
Oh, man, I'm sorry. Shoot. I mean, dude, like this is like we talked about, like I said, Outlaw definitely to me is getting a little cheated in this one. Like I said, about though Musayev saying he is a dynamic striker. He actually does have a win against Pitbull and Ryzen.
I'm glad to say he beat him not too long ago.
Yeah, so that's where he's
from. Was that one of those crossover events?
Yeah, like saying, you know how we talk about like we
the Bellator Ryzen relationship,
yeah, like we talked about the last segment. It's just everything you talk about, man. That's all UFC's about, man. But Scott Coker, that dude's always down to co-promote. Like say, and he's down for the Kayla Cyborg thing. Like you said, it's just PFL. They haven't talked to him, but that's for another time. But just going on with this one, like I said, I think Sydney Outlaw, if it goes to the ground, is his. If it's standing up, it's Musayev's because like I said, he is a dynamic striker. He has good footwork. I really was gonna rock with Sydney Outlaw, local guy kind of, but I just think there's a bad fight for him. I don't know why he took it, so I'm gonna.
Short notice. At least he was ready, but
yeah.
So you think Musayev is getting this one?
Yeah.
So the only loss Sydney Outlaw has in recent memory is to Michael Chandler. He got knocked out by Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's knocked out a lot of people. You see what he's doing in the UFC right now. No shame in that loss, right? But he beat Miles Jury. He beat Picolata. He beat Roger Huerta. He's beat some names in the sport, and he's also, you have to go all the way back before Michael Chandler. He didn't lose 2016 to Gregor Gillespie. So he's been fighting for a while with this chip on his shoulder and winning. Musayev has fought some tough guys. I was looking at his resume. Darren Krushenk is on there as well. Another Ryzen fight. But this is his first fight in the United States. I don't know when it comes to travel how he's going to be dealing, because this is a guy who's fighting, I can't even say the name of the country, Azerbaijan, somewhere over in Europe. I'm not sure the name of the country. And Sydney's right here in the United States, so he's got less travel, he's got less problems, and you're taking a fight on short notice. I got to imagine on 2 weeks' notice, traveling internationally on top of it, that's not a good thing for him. So I know it's a late change, but I still think Sydney Outlaw is going to take care of business, only because he has the less inconveniences out of the fight. Like, he's still preparing for a fight. He just has to change up his style a little bit. What fight should we keep an eye on this card, Brandon?
There are a good amount of fights, but the fight I got my eye on is the Roman Faraldo versus Luis, Eniguez fight. But I'm going with Faraldo to get the job done. Again, another dynamic striker. He's got some good footwork. He's got some flashy stuff. So I think he's gonna get the job done.
I almost went with the Gotzi versus Bobby King fight, but I found a fight I like a little bit better. Romero Cotton versus Dalton Rosa. Both guys undefeated. Both guys 6-0. Both guys are very exciting in the cage. I think Cotton takes this one. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded, definitely a little bit more powerful than Rosa, but Rosa has some of the cleaner strikes. So it's going to be a fun fight. I want to see Romero Cotton, do more, and I think he's going to take this fight. Like you said, there's a lot of stuff on this card. Veteran like Lorenz Larkin's on this fight. Usman Nurmagomedov's on this fight against Christopher Gonzalez. That's going to be a great fight. Davion Franklin's on this against Gome. That's going to be a fun fight. There's a lot of fun stuff on this one. I mentioned Gotzi versus Bobby King. Bates versus Coates. So a lot of fun fights.
Stop dissing my girl Vanessa Porto, man. Mention her name too.
Dude, I think her fight got canceled.
What?
Yeah, it's not on the list anymore.
I got it on my.
Oh yeah, I see it against
even on Bellator's. Yeah,
against Vita. I'm sorry, I missed that one. I didn't see it at first. I was like, wait, did they move the card? So I didn't see it. Yeah, okay. Vanessa Porta versus Vita. Watch that fight for Brandon. Just for Brandon, no other reason. Just because Brandon says watch the fight. If he says watch the fight, watch the fight. What are you waiting for?
Yep.
All right, Brandon. That is Bellator 283. UFC London. We're back across the pond. We were just there not too long ago. Back across the pond. We got heavyweight clash. We got Curtis Blaydes versus Tom Aspinall in the main event. We got Jack Hermanson and Chris Curtis going on. We got Patty the Batty. We got Nikita Krylov. We got Hannah Gold and your girl fighting. We got so much going on right now. Sorry, Meatball Molly McCann. I don't know why I blinked for a second. You guys watch this show. You know I do that. Anyway, start off with the main event. Tell me who wins. Curtis Blaydes versus Tom Aspinall.
Curtis Blaydes. That's all I'm going to say. Curtis Blaydes, going with him, man. Wrestling. Also, too, man, that's the thing. A lot of people, man, always think of Curtis Blaydes just as a wrestler, but the guy can strike. You saw his last fight, and even his fight before he even got into the UFC, the dude was Donkey Konging, some guy to get the job done. So I'm going with Curtis Blaydes. He's the veteran, has the experience. Tommy Aspinall, man, he will be a crowd favorite. He will have the crowd behind him. But man, this is what Curtis Blaydes does. He likes to go into enemy territory. He loves to get booed. He loves spoiling the party, and that's what I think he's going to do.
6 years, Brandon. That's the last time Tom Aspinall lost a fight, 6 years ago. And since then, his last three fights, Alexander Volkov, Spivak, Arlovsky, even people like Badat and Jason Collier. His last 8 fights, he's all won by stoppage, including submissions, not just knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis Blaydes is very tough. Curtis Blaydes is a contender. He seems to fall short when the spotlight is the brightest. Saw it against Derek Lewis, for instance. I think Tom Aspinall's destined for a title shot. Does he win the title? I don't really know. But I think he's destined for a title shot. I'd love to see him and Cyril Gane match up. I think that'd be a fun fight. But he's got to get through Blaydes first. And I think Aspinall gets the win. Like you said, home crowd advantage. I know Curtis Blaydes has never really cared about that. He comes, takes care of business. Very workmanlike. But I think this time, I think the length of Aspinall, I think that a lot of times Curtis Blaydes has the advantage when it comes to, a lot of people don't know this. Just the length of Curtis Blaydes' arms, like how long his arms are, he gets that jab off. And he has almost like swimmer shoulders. You ever look at Curtis Blaydes' shoulders? Like they're wide. Like he has the ability to get to you from all different angles, which also helps his grappling. But Aspinall is good on the ground. Aspinall is good with the strikes. And I really think Aspinall is the better fighter here. So I'm interested to see this clash, and I think Aspinall is going to win. Over in the co-main event, plus I got to pick some different picks so I can catch up to Brandon in the fight picks. But over in the co-main event, Jack Hermanson versus Chris Curtis. Kind of surprised this is the co-main event personally, but who you got in this one?
I'm actually going to go with the action man, Chris Curtis, because I think he's going to be able to sucker Jack Hermanson into a banger, into a brawl, into a street fight. And usually Jack Hermanson, we all know, is good on the ground, but he never likes to go there. He always will stand and bang with somebody, and that's what I think is going to happen here. And I think I just think Curtis is going to be able to just take advantage.
I know people like when we fight, but I actually agree with you. I don't think Jack Hermanson's been the same since that Vettori fight. I know he beat Shabazian in the middle, but Shabazian's been on the way down for a while. Since he lost that undefeated streak, he hasn't won a fight. I think Jack Hermanson looked like a shell of himself against Sean Strickland. Both you and I said if Jack Hermanson could wrestle against Sean Strickland, he had a chance. Sean Strickland even out-wrestled him. Like Sean Strickland just dominated him. I haven't seen Jack Hermanson really since the Vettori fight. I think that Vettori slugfest that he had took a lot out of him. Chris Curtis is kind of on a hot streak. I think he's coming up. I think Chris Curtis is probably the guy to beat in this fight. I'm not saying Jack Hermanson can't pull off the win, but it would take him remembering who he is. And maybe being in England, maybe that'll help. But I don't know. I think Chris Curtis is taking this one. What's your fight pick of the night?
My fight pick on the night, man, there's plenty to choose for. I mean, everybody knows I love me some Meatball Molly, but I'm staying away.
Shocked this is not your pick, but go ahead.
I know. I'm staying away from that fight, and I'm actually going to go with the fight after it, and that is the Nikita Krylov versus Alexander Gustafsson. hey, back in the day, man, Gustafson was right there, be right behind John Jones, top 205er. Man, I just think that I mean, I know he tried heavyweight, then he came back down. Didn't really work for him so well, but I just think Gustafson's gonna get the job done. I think he's back to his roots. I think he's gonna put on the show.
Yeah, I don't think he's been the same in years. It's interesting though. Krylov used to fight at heavyweight too, and he found his own when he came down to 205 and has been way more successful. I always want to see Gustafson do good, but it's been a long time since we've seen that version of Alex. My fight pick, how can you not have a British card and not talk about Paddy the Baddy, Paddy Pimblett, going against Jordan Levitt, a guy I've touted for a while. The last time I touted him, though, he got knocked out. He came back, got a big win. Now he's fighting Paddy Pimblett in England. I don't think that's a good matchup, especially since he's pissing Paddy off, calling him Paddy the Fatty and everything else. We know Paddy loves his food. He's even eating pizza right before a fight. It is what he does. But guess what? He's a hell of a fighter and a former 2-division Cage Warriors champion. Paddy the Baddy, I think, will take care of Jordan Levitt probably in the first round. I don't think it's going very long. Definitely not a decision. That's my opinion.
Wow.
You think Levitt's got a chance?
I do. To be honest with you, I actually was picking Levitt to win this fight.
Well, there you go, folks.
Just remember, guys, last week your boy over here went 3-0 while this guy was 1-2, man. I'm looking.
Fairness, a lot of people thought he lost his pick fight.
I know what you're talking about.
Even he thought Shane lost that fight.
Oh, whoa, hey. I was sure about the first round, my guy. Relax.
Anyway, also on that card, you got, like we saw, Molly McCann versus Hannah Goldie. I think that's going to be a great fight. I almost picked the Paul Craig Ozdemir fight. I think that's going to be a fantastic fight. I think Paul Craig has the advantage.
Man, Craig is going to tap him out.
I think so too. Mason Jones, man, I love watching that guy fight. He's fighting Klein. That's going to be fun. Keezy versus Hadzovic. Nate Wood versus Charles Rosa. I mean, there's a lot of bangers on this fight. Americani versus Pierce. And Mokaev versus Johnson. Herbert versus Nelson. Baum versus Leonardo. And Silva versus Dalby. No short of striking contest. Very few submission games in there except for Craig. It's going to be a fun night. I don't think they'll go to the fight card with 14 fights. We know some fights are going to drop off. But if they do, this might set the record for most stoppages. Because there is a lot. British fights, they love to stand and bang anyway. Yep. So it's going to be a fun night. Is that one taking place early too because they're in London?
Yeah, the main card starts at 3. So
that's what I thought.
Prelims start at 12.
Well, folks, leave your picks in the comments. Let us know. Of course, check out fightersfirst.shop. Both Brandon and I repping the merch. Support the brand, support the show. Let our apparel be a part of your story. Go get the Mechanic Collection. Shop the Mechanic Collection. Always love some branding. Cuttino, and he likes the attention too. So he just likes being better than me, and it drives me crazy. So it's even better for him. He even wore the same shirt as I did this week just to irritate me. I don't even let my wife match with me, Brandon. If I had noticed, I would have gone and changed. Any final thoughts this week before we get out of here, boss?
Just guys, enjoy the fights and man, just let us know, what your guys' fight picks are too.
You're back on Relaxation Wednesday, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I wish I was.
You got that look in your face like you're just, I'm good.
Nah, I'm a little tired, but yeah, man, I'm good.
All right, well, I'll let you go, Cho. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the fights this week. This is Art of MMA. We'll be back next week. I'm Mike Ginn. That's the Mechanic, and we're out.
Oh my God.